The Horseman, Welcome to Florespark, has finally arrived and is written by Chuck Dixon. It's drawn by Joe Ben. And of course, you have some of your usual suspects as well, like Andrew being the editor, Fabio Jansen being on the inks, and so on and so forth. And this is a very, very notable comic for Rippaverse Comics. One, this is the same creative team as far as the writer and the pencilers go from Alpha Core. Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett. It's clear these two are now on like a street together, on a dream team type of thing. It's like, okay, hey, we got a good flow, we got a good band going, let's keep this going. And this is also very notable because on top of them continuing their little streak of dominance, this is the very first ever street level hero for Rippaverse Comics. So while Rippaverse Comics hasn't really been overly cosmic, like say like Thanos or the New Gods or the Eternals, it's definitely it's like moderately grounded, but a little bit of powers. I'd say Yara is probably the character who's the most out there so far yet, even though we got Zalen, who's to come, supposed to be first ever cosmic, but currently standing, it's fairly grounded overall. And well, even though the series of comics has been fairly grounded overall, there hasn't been anything that's been of the street level nature. So this is where the Horseman really comes into play, because this is the type of character, if you're into like the Punisher, if you're even a little bit into Daredevil, if you're a little bit into Batman, if you're basically vigilante comics, do you like 80s action hero movies? Do you like seeing Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, all those guys being badass, beating the crap out of bad guys? This comic book is made for you.
As I suspected, 32 flavors.
The Horseman is a story of Hector Cavallero, his nightlife as a vigilante, his day life to support his nephew and sister, and how he goes about supporting these things whom he holds dear close to him, connects to his nighttime festivities of badassery. And he has no powers. So because he has no powers, he comes a little bit short. So he has to give an extra hard mollywop into all the extra thugs he has to fight as he goes along, night by night by night. And he's got definitely some really significant flaws as well. Outside of being a human, which in this universe they call him a normal, he also has some severe rookie mistakes. Obviously, he has family who's attached to him as well, one of being in a position of handicapness. So these are all really significant things that, if gotten to him, it could really do some damage to Hector, despite him being a very big, formidable guy. I think he seems like the type of guy who was definitely in the military. He did wear an army shirt, so I could see where that would come from with Mr. Hector Caballero, and considering that he's supporting his sister and her son, and their husband was deceased because of a past tragedy. So it's like, okay, cool, nice, simple, straightforward setup story, awesome. Insert bad guys so he can take care of his nighttime duties because of a job he has to do. Success, awesome, cool. And then of course you got the inclusion of Alpha Core, which is really cool because it's clear that Alpha Core are basically like the cops of the Rippaverse. They're basically like they feel like the main like group. Like if like every universe has their main group, their characters who kind of cross over in other books, it feels like this is the go-to group for that, which I really like. The banter between Solari and Hector, really awesome stuff, and it feels like there's gonna definitely be a bit of some tension down the line with that. I was really all in on that. I was like, oh, dude, these guys, I could see a collision coming. I could see a collision coming. And then Joe Bennett's art is dynamic. Yeah, I know there's a few things that are kind of like, that seems kind of often. Whatever, man. I don't give a shit, really. Like, if that's your problem that you have to, like, celebrate and go on your own little, like, male PMS fit about, well, then that's your own fucking problem. Because I really like his outside those small little things that it could have been better, but everything else is really good. Great superhero poses. I like the land in Florespark, and I'm assuming that before he relocated Florespark, it looked like a New York City type of play with the fucking up my English here, like a New York City type of place with the subways and all, and seeing the snow come down looked really cool. And I love the transfer of how like Texas and the whole blue sky term that Chuck Dixon likes to use to describe, Florespark in Texas. Really well done stuff. I really, really dug it. I gotta say, Joe's pencils are great. I've seen the raw cuts before the inks come in from Fabio. Lots of great splashes, and it moves fast too. It moves fast. There's lots of action, and even on top of the action, there's great, once again, character building of moments. So it really is a very balanced book, and it doesn't feel like it's 96 pages as well, which is something I really love when a story doesn't feel like it's as long as it actually is. You should feel like you're being entertained and not, checking your phone, checking your watch, looking around like, is this over yet? Is it? Yep. No, it's not. And the actions, of course, the action's brutal. I mean, snow is white, water's wet, Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Of course, there's bloody, brutal action. There's definitely some parts where it's just like, oh, ah. That's some brutal shit, dude. So I was really enjoying the action. This is what I expect. I want this shit to come out swinging. I want to feel like I'm hanging out with Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren, surviving a night out, having a little showdown in a little Tokyo. If I ain't doing that, then I have completely missed the plot in life. So really, really well done. I gotta say, I gotta give credit to Chuck for the ending, because the ending, if you've seen the original Death Wish, because there's only one Death Wish 1, very comparable ending. I don't know if he had it in mind or if it's something that just kind of came to him, but I definitely got a little bit of a Death Wish 1 vibe of the whole, I must go somewhere. Oh, okay. I really like that ending. So, Chuck, if you've watched Death Wish, you know what I'm talking about. You could at least see where I got. So yeah, overall, really fun comic. The steady streak continues. I really enjoy this book. I'm not gonna say if I enjoy this more than this or that. I'm just gonna give it a straight 8 out of 10. That's where I stand with the score. So yeah, go buy The Horseman. Welcome to Florespark. I do hope there's more of this. It's definitely a book that I would continue to read more often, as long as Chuck and Joe put out more. So thank you for watching this video. You lay down your souls to the gods, rock and roll.
Gunny! Jones. Just because we're holding hands doesn't mean we're gonna take warm showers till the wee hours of the morning.